Hello, welcome to this special screening of Brick Lane. Could I please introduce the actor leading lady? This is Tannishtha Chatterjee and the filmmaker-director, Sarah Gavron. I'm going to let Sarah start off by introducing the film.
We've decided to set the film in the year of 2001, and I hope what we do is show Nazneen's unique and blossoming view of a world changing as she changes, set against the landscape of a marriage.
Tannishtha, what would you like to say? You play the main character.
Yeah, I just would like to thank everyone who's here, and I hope that you enjoy the film, and thank you, Al Jazeera, for inviting us here.
Well, total pleasure, and we hope you enjoy the film. We're going to talk to you after in the Q&A. See you then. Based on the critically acclaimed novel by Monica Ali, Brick Lane is the story of Nazneen, who's taken from Bangladesh and her sister when the teenager's forced into an arranged marriage. 20 years on, she's living in a grey housing block in the East End of London, raising 2 daughters.
Papa, will we get the promotion today?
Very likely. Very likely.
They are her only real connection to her much older husband, Chanu,
Don't cut the meat very small.
played by Bollywood director and comedian Satish Kaushik.
From today, we are joining the World Wide Web.
Desperate to fund her ticket home, Nazneen finds a job and a new identity.
I'll send the boy over once you've had a chance to practice. You can earn £1 apiece.
But everything changes when she meets Kareem, played by Christopher Simpson, and they boldly embark on an affair.
What?
You always stammer when you talk Bengali.
Only when I'm nervous.
A Muslim woman committing adultery isn't the film's only controversial theme. Set against the backdrop of 9/11 and its aftermath, Brick Lane has sparked outrage amidst the community who fear being demonised.
The way people look at you now in the street, so much mistrust. I want to say, if I was a bomber, do you think I'd be carrying 50 pairs of jeans on my back?
Stop.
What?
Sarah, you knew that this was already a controversial book. Many directors would have said, I'm going to steer clear from this one. For my first feature film, maybe a nice little film, but maybe not this one.
It was in many ways irresistible, but it was also very daunting. I mean, the night before we were scheduled to shoot on Brick Lane itself, I got a call from the producers saying there'd been a threat, that, you know, some people would be hurt. And what we've quickly discovered was that the protests were coming from a very vocal but tiny portion of the community.
There's something I want to show you.
Just yourself as a director, are you like happy that it's got that kind of attention, or maybe does it detract?
What I felt very strongly about it was that what we were trying to make was not something polemical and explosive. You know, you see plenty of that in the news. What we were trying to do was open up this one fictional Bangladeshi family and show their loves and their lives and their struggles.
What is the wrong with you?
Do you mean, what is wrong with you?
Part of your research for this part, you really did get to go into that community and spend a lot of time.
I spend a lot of time with them to understand, you know, their worlds, and a lot of them had similar stories like Nazneen. There's one woman who told me that the local vegetable seller, who was Caucasian and, you know, a man, she was so scared of him that he would just drop the vegetable outside her doorstep, and she would open the door after he went away. But when I met her, she was in her 40s, so she's lived in England for 22 years. The same local vegetable seller comes into her house and has a cup of tea. So that is the kind of journey that, you know, one was talking about.
It's okay. I visit a lot of the women.
When I was offered this part, I was equally excited and nervous. It's not only that Nazneen doesn't speak much, but she doesn't express much.
Walaikum assalam.
Both of us always struggled how to just let her eyes and her face do what nothing else is doing internally. I have to admit that there was this whole selfish side of me as an actor who said, oh my God, you know, Chanu is so colorful, he'll steal the show, and what will happen to me?
I have also become the employee of Campton Cars. Driver 1619. So the home fund will prosper. Mem Sahab, prepare. Jodi shobai phir jay,
So let's talk about the Chanu character. He could have been a really easy target to demonize. You could have made him into a brutal, horrible man. The man that she was forced into an arranged marriage. The man that a loveless marriage.
Assalamu alaikum.
I thought one of the appealing things about Monica Ali's novel was that it didn't present stereotypes. Chanu is a complex man. He's a bully at one point, he's funny and he's pompous, and he's finally wise and compassionate. And we wanted to show a character like that.
One of the things that Sarah said, which has been amazing, is they went to great lengths to find somebody, a young version of this beautiful lady here.
We went to West Bengal and we did very extensive casting and found this little girl. She hadn't acted before, and we took her out to this village, and she ran through these fields that were snake infested in huge heat.
What I missed, I think, in the film was some more complexity in terms of the politics. I got the feeling that there could have been much more political discussion.
What we wanted to do was show something that I don't think has been depicted up to now, which was the generational difference, that you have this rather relaxed form of Islam that's brought over from South Asia by the first generation. And then you have, very interestingly, I think, this younger generation who initially, were defining themselves by being rather Western, and now, post 9/11, have started defining themselves by exploring, some might say, a more austere form of Islam or different forms of Islam.
We stand arm in arm with our Muslim brothers, ready to defend.
What is it you plan to defend?
For me, as an Indian who lives in India, really appeals in the book as well as in the film is, here is a story which is like every other story about human beings, and of course there are political implications in it, but it's still a universal story, and I find that the most appealing thing to me in the film.
Can we please thank the filmmaker and the actor here? We have Sarah Gavron. Tannishtha.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.
Since 1837,
Do you have the cream? I'm going black.
evolved
Your father
from a
is speaking.
townhouse owned from the
If he ever
people
stops,
of the
let me know.
18th century.
From a film creating a big noise to a man who creates noise for films. His name is Mike Hedges, and he's a mixer of sound.
183.694 miles per hour.
I'm Mike Hedges. Welcome to my place. Basically, a sound re-recording mixer is somebody who works closely with the director to tell their story using sound as a medium. I'm not there to tell my story, I'm there to tell the director's story. So the challenging aspect is making a great soundtrack that excites people, that tells the story. Just as we see the landscape, we have a soundscape to match that image. When we just start with a dialogue track that sounds something like this.
Mile 4, 172.485 miles per hour.
Now we can add in some bike sound effects. Get you in the exhilaration, the feel of the moving. Flybys, all of the things that are happening in the image, we need to make sure are covered in the soundtrack. One thing that really hangs it all together is something we call foots and movements. For the layman, it's foots and movements, but for most soundies and people in the industry, it's called Foley. And that's all of this sort of stuff. Claps. Anything that's happening on the day by the actors in the image. Rustles, footsteps, all of that sort of thing. It all builds up the soundtrack. The last thing I'm going to show you is the music. If you listen to the music by itself, it's got drama, it's got excitement in it. You put it with all the sound effects, and it sounds something like this.
193.728. Mile 6, 193.728 miles per hour.
it's something you never dream of winning. To win an Oscar is something that gives you confidence. It allows you to be accepted internationally, and it has made us stand out there as great filmmakers from a little country like New Zealand. They certainly don't know you walking into the Oscars, but when you're walking out, they certainly did. For me, the best part of my job is actually seeing the final print with a great soundtrack and watching the audience go, wow, that was fantastic.
I did it. I did it.
Well, that's it for this fabulous picture show. I hope you enjoyed it, but you two were great. Hope you enjoyed it as well.
Oh, thank you. No, we did. It was a great experience.
What do you hope for the film now?
Well, I hope that it reaches a wide audience and resonates across cultures and generations, which is what the book did.
In today's world, I hope that, though it's a specific story, its universality is what appeals to people.
Well, best of luck with your careers, and we hope to see more of both of you.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
we hope to see you next time.
Massage car seat cover. Very good for back. For relief of tension and unknotting of muscles. La, 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 la.
If I had to rate the film out of 10, I'll give it an 8.
It's like a fairy tale. It sheds a lot of light onto darkness.
The way it was played was very convincing, the way she very gradually became more confident.
Having heard about the controversy, it's a bit harmless in a way, and it could maybe push a few more boundaries.